One of the first jobs that I ever had was being a lifeguard in my community pool. This was a very difficult job, but it was also a very rewarding experience. My primary job every day was to survey and protect all the patrons in the pool. When you become a lifeguard, you go through extensive training such as CPR certification and first aid certification just to make sure that you're protecting all the patrons how you should. Every single week, my employers would mandate that we have in-service training to debut our skills and also to get critical criticism from them to make sure we were doing everything correctly. I made sure that I listened to all of this criticism to make sure that I was doing the absolute best that I could for my company as well as for the people that I was protecting. Our employer would have us demonstrate all of our skills and then they would correct us on anything that we possibly did wrong. It was in these moments that I learned right from wrong and that I ultimately became a better lifeguard and a better employee. It made me more determined, more driven, and it helped me realize what I should do while I'm on the job and what I shouldn't do in order to make sure that I was doing the job correctly. A few summers ago, I worked for a sports park where people could come and play mini golf, hit golf balls on the driving range, and even hit baseballs and softballs in the batting cages. While I was working here, I had the opportunity to meet and interact with a lot of different types of people. I met people from different religious backgrounds, different economical status backgrounds, and even people from different parts of the world. While I was interacting with all these people, I realized that it was very important to interact with them and cater to all of their specific needs and their desires. For instance, we used to have a lot of middle school field trips come in, and we would always have to help them get all of their stuff and facilitate all of their activities to make sure they were doing everything correctly and to make sure that they got every single thing that they needed. In another situation, we would also have a lot of rich old people come in who would hit golf balls on the driving range and sometimes do mini golf, and all you had to do for those people was give them exactly what they asked for because they were set in their ways and they knew exactly what they wanted. This job really taught me to be extremely helpful and extremely mindful of everybody's needs and desires. It made me realize that not everybody needs the same thing and not everybody desires the same thing, and that even though everybody is using the same facility in the same exact way, everybody has their own outlook on everything, and you must be very conscientious to that and make sure that you are helping every single person and every customer in the way that they would like. And that would show true customer service and make you look like a much better employee for your company and for everybody who visits your place of business, which will make them want to come back in the future. One of the most difficult jobs that I've ever had was working for the rentals department of Kitty Hawk Kites in North Carolina. When I worked for the company, I was one of two people that worked in the rentals department. So essentially, I was an assistant manager without actually having the title. My job every day was to load up a big box truck full of kayaks, paddleboards, surfboards, bicycles, and anything else that a customer could possibly need while they were on vacation in the Outer Banks. It was in this job that I realized that organization is key. I had to organize my delivery times, the addresses, and each piece of equipment that I would be delivering, as well as every piece of equipment that I would have to pick up from the delivery in the previous week. This job taught me a lot about organizational skills. It taught me a lot about leadership when I had to take over rentals when my manager wasn't there, as well as customer service. I had to make sure that every single one of my customers was pleased and satisfied with everything that I was giving to them and with the service that the company was providing as a whole. I believe that this job made me a better, well-rounded, organized employee that could tackle the hardest of problems, especially when it comes to delivering to specific customer needs and making sure that they are completely satisfied with everything that they will get from the company. Last summer, I worked with Henrico County Recreation and Parks at a summer camp called Summer Blast for elementary school students. This was a camp for children who couldn't necessarily afford a vacation in the summer, and they could come hang out with all of us and other camp counselors and do interactive activities for free. It was my job, as well as working with the team, to make sure that we provided interactive activities for all of these children that they could benefit from in terms of making new friendships as well as learning key skills. This job taught me a lot about how organizing is very essential to the job and how being a leader means a lot, especially in the eyes of these young people. Every single day, we would make sure that all of the children were taken care of and that they were having a great time. We had to make sure that they were interacting with each other in a civil way and that they were always participating in everything that we planned for them. At the beginning of every week, my team and I would make sure that we planned every single thing for the week down to the very minute. We would have rotations for every single activity and make sure that the children were getting a broad spectrum of activities throughout the entire time they were there. We had to make sure that we didn't repeat a single thing throughout the entire summer. We would have art and craft time, we would have outside time, and we would have exploratory gym time. And every time that the kids would do a project or they would do an activity, it was up to us as counselors to interact with them while they were doing said activity. This made it possible for us to gain experience with younger minds as well as be leaders for an organization and make sure that we were doing everything in the exact way that we were supposed to in order to benefit somebody else's experience.